Hello everyone, this is Plankera and welcome to my universe. Yesterday we pretty much finished up the upward head turn, which marks the final cardinal direction that I had to do. Before I go into anything else, I was looking at it a little bit this morning and I think I want to tweak the back hair just a little bit more, see if I can do a little bit more for it, because I do feel like the bottom is a little bit squirmy. I mean, right through here. It's like this red part and then these two parts right here, just like, look at them twitch. That's pretty twitchy. So I want to see if I can do something for them before I move on. Right now it's still looking perhaps a little bit bad. So let's start getting some of those shapes on in there. And I wanted to take a look at the Inktober prompt for today because I realized I forgot to do that this morning. Figure I should actually look at it before I go start trying to talk about things, and this was one of the themes that I had ideas before the month even started. Because I think this is a pretty good one. The prompt for today was horizon. And much like sun, I think there's a lot you can do with that. Gives kind of a very clear image while still being pretty loose. So I think it's one of the better prompts. So today should be fun. I think it's kind of funny that I ended up drawing a water-themed one yesterday when probably going to be doing more water-themed stuff today. Except this time it's going to be with the sun. Yes, I'm going to get to draw another pretty sun. It's very exciting. Because I remember being just a tiny one. And playing with sidewalk chalk. And one of my favorite things to draw way back then was the sun over the water. So when I saw horizon being one, I was like, yeah, I gotta draw the sun in the water. I guess the sun itself isn't in the water, it's the reflection that's in the water, but close enough. So I'm kind of looking forward to doing that one today. And meanwhile on this model, that highlight continues to just be complete hell. I swear, it likes going out of its way to make my life difficult. I'm not sure if I've actually made the bottom look any better either. Oh my. I wonder if I can pull things down even harder. Not there. Here. Let's do some science. I already don't like this, so what's the worst that could happen, right? We're just gonna pull things way down here. See if this gives me a little bit more freedom. Oh wow, that's too far. I think the idea is good, though. I just look at that and I'm just like, okay, maybe that was pulled down a little bit too far. More than a little bit, but the idea seems reasonable, so I'm going to go and explore this a little bit more. Procrastinate from dealing with this very angry fellow up here. Never seems happy with what I do. Probably poke at it here and there while I try to work out the rest of this stuff, but we shall see. How does this look over here? So if I wanted to pull this more like straight down, I'm not sure if I can do that actually. But I think it'd be something like this. I still wanted to get to the edge of the strand here. The little strand that's supposed to be surrounding and encompassing everything. Admittedly, I didn't expect this little area to be so difficult. Okay. New thought. Let's just back way up here. We're gonna go so far back. Yeah, like all the way back here. And I'm just gonna try to move this even less. I think I can get away with just having very little movement here and keeping it close to how it is in the original. Maybe that will make it stop squirming quite so hard. So for that, I think we might do some mesh consultations. See what happens here. My goodness, some of these vertices are just going way out into outer space. I have no idea what's going on here. And I think this is a case where I have to do the best with what I have. And trying to make the hair go down a little bit is just not working. So I'm going to try to make it stay relatively still. And see if that kind of works out at all. Even with the top part here moving. Because I like the amount of movement around here. It's just... the way the highlight there is moving just looks strange to me. The angles keep changing and I don't think it looks very good, so I want to try to make it a little bit better. And while I figure that out, I figured now might be a good time to talk about another creative adventure that I've been having. I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, or maybe this week, I'm not sure, that I was thinking about writing a comic. And I am indeed thinking about that. I have a couple of ideas that I'm kind of nurturing in my head, but I have one that I'm leaning towards more than the other. And it's going to be kind of a fairly straightforward fantasy setting about a group of adventurers going down to try to take down the Dark Lord. But things are not what they seem. And that's about the most I can describe for the moment. Because writing is hard. Words are very hard. And right now I'm focusing mostly on bringing the story together before I start worrying too much about art. But because that's been hard. Like most of the writing that I've been doing has been for like forum role-playing. So basically what I'd do is I'd make a character and then there's a bunch of other people that have also made characters. And then we would just write stuff together. So normally I'm used to having somebody to play off of for one. And two, I am not used to planning at all. Like, often I'll give my characters various themes and I'll have some loose ideas of kind of directions I want to go to help me get started. But in terms of actually writing everything myself and figuring out the story beats and all that stuff, never really had to do that. So I have not written very much on my own. And trying to bridge the gap between what I'm used to and learning the new things I have to do with this has been an adventure. Not necessarily a bad one, but definitely a difficult one. It's difficult in ways that I did not expect, which is why I thought that it might be interesting to talk about for all of you out there trying to well, even if not write something, pursue some endeavor or project, and it just not going quite as smoothly as you feel like it should. Because, yeah, while I was thinking about things one night that I couldn't sleep, I realized that, you know, I kind of have the initial cast set up. I have a few characters that I enjoy. Might talk about them someday, but that's not the point right now. I'm also still kind of in a stage where lots of things are changing. So they might not stay quite the same, but yes, I do have a small cast that I enjoy. And I have a setting that I think is good. I've figured out a lot of the stuff that's necessary for me to get started. And I could totally write it all up. And then I realized, while I was laying in bed, eyes on the ceiling, while I tried to get comfortable and fall back asleep, oh no, I am approaching this just like I would a role-playing site. And that is not what I'm trying to do here. I have my characters, I have my setting, we should be ready to go, right? But there is something missing still. I'm not quite sure what it is yet. I'm still kind of trying to piece these things together. And I'm realizing that I'm not 100% sure how to get started. It's like I have a reasonable idea of how the story starts, how the characters all meet, so I'm probably just gonna start writing some stuff and seeing what happens. But I can tell that something is still missing, and I just not quite sure what. Because I can already tell that solo writing and role-playing are very different. I've tried to write a few other things before. This is, I want to say, my 4th story idea. So we'll see how much further I get with this one. I do get a little further each time. And it's not so much that I get bored with the other ones, but I just haven't been sure where to take them. And at least this time, I'm realizing that I think I know why now. I have found the problem. Part of the problem. I have found that there is a problem. That may be the more accurate way to say it. So I'm still trying to feel my way through. Trying to look up a bunch of writing advice and see how other people have dealt with this strange mystery that I am now trying to explore. So don't worry, if you are also trying to do something for the first time, and it just feels strangely hard, I feel ya. You are not alone in that regard. Everything in your head just feels so clear, but then you have to make it real. You have to bring it into reality, and then suddenly you realize that the pristine world in your head was not as clear as you thought it was. Alright. Probably continue rambling about that a bit more, but I think I've gotten the back hair in a pretty good state. Satisfied for now. We'll see what the me of tomorrow feels like. But I also wanted to talk about what I wanted to do from here, and I kind of wanted to revisit my other head angles before I move on completely. Because I was looking at this the other day, and I think I might have brought the jaw a little bit too far back. So I wanted to take a look at that real quick. Actually, before I touch all this, I kind of want to save. This way if things go bad, I can just close it and reload. I believe in myself enough, but it's like... Look, it's a little bit less scary when I know that I can try things and nothing bad is gonna happen. I'm not gonna lose 100 hours of work. Just because I want to do some science. So I'm going to very carefully move all this out just a little bit here. Not trying to do too much here. Oh yes, the reason that I am revisiting all of my head angles here is because soon it's going to be time to tackle the corners. And the corners get their initial positions based on what I have rigged in the cardinal directions. Sometimes it does okay, but sometimes it doesn't get it quite right. So that's why I have to go in and make corrections. But because it's taking information from the cardinal directions, I want to make sure that I have each of those exactly the way I want it before I move on. How does that compare with this one? Alright, I'm going to turn off the headline for a second there. And the ears. And of course, because my present self is always a little bit pickier than my past self ever was, I just want to go in and double check everything and make sure that it's the way I want it to be before I move on. Just have a vertex selected somewhere. I think it's good to take another look over your work before you decide it's done. I know that most of the time, whenever I'm doing a new painting, I just always finish it one night, and then I look at it again the next day. It's like if you take a look at the 2 Arknights speed paints that I have up on the channel here, you'll see that I did indeed. Well, they're not speed paints, but the 2 that I have drawn over here, I have a playlist for them, and you'll see that on both of them I did indeed leave them overnight and look at it the next morning. That's why my drawing of Ines has a little bit of the first stream on that is called Drawing Manticore. Because indeed, that is where it all started. I was just wanting to take one last look at my Manticore drawing before I moved on to the next one. But I didn't want to only stream for like 5 minutes. Because unless I see like really, really big changes I need to make, it generally only takes me a few minutes to go through it. I almost always make some kind of change. Just not very large ones, and most of the time it's not very time consuming or anything. The hard part is just not looking at it for the entire day. So when I finish something, I like to stare at it. But the entire point of looking away for a little while is this why your eyes are no longer used to looking at it? And you can see problems more easily. You can bring out the full force of the pickiness of your future self. Now I'm just trying to smooth out her jaw a little bit here. And if I'm being honest, if I never revisited the head angles here, and I just left them as it was, I'm not sure if I would have ever noticed these problems. They're fairly small problems, mind you, so maybe that wouldn't have been so bad. But now I think I can go through and make it just a little bit better. My perfectionism is okay with this. And on the subject of writing again, I'm not sure if they're still doing a National Novel Writing Month after some of the unfortunate stuff that happened there. But even if they were, I don't think I'd be participating this time, not right after Inktober. That seems like it'd be a little bit too rough for my poor psyche, and I also have Christmas presents I want to draw, so... But I will be thinking about it. It's just kind of one of those things that has been in the back of my mind. And I've just been not quite sure how to get started. That's been true of drawing for me as well, where getting started is by far the hardest part. It's like when it comes to art, I've seen a lot of people that have trouble finishing things. Like I've seen people even deliberately say that they avoid drawing the eyes or the face just because it's one of their favorite parts. And they want to save it for the end to encourage them to finish the rest. And I'm like, I don't have this problem. I'm pretty good at finishing things once I start. But getting started is really hard. So much of me learning to draw and my current art style is based around what was able to get me started. That's why I start in just large blobs and getting a general gist of how things are moving, where I'm going to put colors, you know, gestures and all that stuff. As opposed to, I guess, being very neat and methodical about things. I just embrace full chaos. And then I spend a bunch of time rendering. Whereas I've seen some people that just like to start with a very clean line art and then go from there. It's like, nah, I just gotta get things down. I gotta get my ideas down and then I can go from there. Because the first step for me is just always getting to the point where I actually like looking at something. Once I get there, I'm golden. But getting there is always really, really hard for me. And I think I'm just feeling that same thing, just in a different context that I don't know how to work past. And so I just gotta learn. It's not really a big deal. Not a big deal, but that doesn't make it easy. But I'll get there. I believe in myself. Alright. I just need to copy this to the headline. There we go. Now I'm going to compare these two heads. One with her chin a little further out, one with it a little bit further back. Because I know once I copy it over to the other side, there's no going back. So I should probably save. This way if I want to go back, maybe I can just revert the save. Okay. Save happened. Here goes nothing. This time we're going to set for mirror. Okay. I can't directly compare, but actually, I do think I like this a little bit better. I'm just looking at it already. Indeed, it seems like her chin was just a little bit too far back. I just needed to fix it. I still just love the derpy little pick coming off here in the current corner. Okay. Now I notice on this side that some shadows over here on her cheek are not quite right. Perhaps not quite right is an understatement. But it is definitely not quite right. So I gotta fix it up. I'm not actually sure how they got like that. Must have just accidentally poked something somewhere and didn't notice somehow. Or maybe it's because I brought that cheek a little bit further out. Just now. I suppose the reason doesn't matter that much. What matters is that I make it look right. So I'm just gonna touch a few of these vertices and get that tiny little bit of shadow that I see on the side of her face in the original. There's not very much, but you can see there's just a little bit right through here. Just a tiny, tiny bit, and it's a very subtle shadow. Doesn't really like to make its presence known, but I can see it. So I'll be sure to get it exactly where it wants to be, just like everything else. Get it nice and smooth, and nice and subtle. It's okay, little shadow, you don't have to bring a lot of attention to yourself. You can be exactly what you want to be. And I'll help you get there. Yeah, looking at it, I don't actually like the shadow around the chin very much. It's okay, this is why I'm using the power of my future self to figure all this out. May the pickiness flow through me. And allow me to find all the problems that I want to fix. Make things as good as possible. That, and I wouldn't be surprised if I've learned a thing or two since I've done the left and right head angle. It's been a while since I've worked on those. Not sure how long. I haven't gone through and all my VODs and tried to find when I actually started some of these. I think I might be a little bit sad if I realize how slow I am at this, but it's okay. Point is, it's been a while. So here we go. Just want to adjust a little bit around the chin there. Kind of felt like when I was checking the turn that it was going a little bit too far down. Whereas it needs to kind of gently wrap around and just go all the way up here into the rest of the shadow over there. Which I still think looks pretty good. So that's nice. My past self did a good job overall. Just like I said, when I go to correct my art and do that final check, there's pretty much always one or two things I want to fix up. That doesn't mean my past self did something wrong, it just means that there's a couple of things that I needed fresh eyes to see. And I think that's true here as well. Past self was definitely doing her best, and I think she did a pretty good job. Right now I'm just focusing on the face because, frankly, I need a break from the hair. All of these head turns has been like all hair all the time, and I'm a little sick of it. And honestly, when I go back and make more corrections, I know it's gonna go back to being all hair again. That's just how it is. She has a lot of hair. And I will never be able to escape it, but that's fine. Just remind myself that someday it'll be done. And I will never have to mess with her hair again. Well, yeah, I think both of these turns are looking pretty good overall. Clearly have some stuff to fix with the shadows right through here. We're just gonna pull all this out. I don't mind a little bit of stuff that looks like reflected light, but I think here it's a bit too strong. There's just this little light part on the corner of her chin there. And I wanted to get it out of there. I don't know why, but my nose just keeps getting so itchy during stream. It is the strangest thing. It's like I was sitting here playing video games with my husband and nose not itchy. Starts streaming, suddenly nose very itchy. It's a very odd phenomenon. I kinda wish it would stop. Very rude of my nose to be doing that when touching my face makes my model kind of freak out. Puts the hand in the way of the tracking. So here I'm just making some minor adjustments around the chin. I just see some areas where the shadows aren't quite the way I want them. It's all pretty small though, so it's just perfectionism. It's fine. It's like it's the face, so I just want to make sure that it looks as good as I can make it. And there were just a few things with the shadows that I wasn't quite satisfied with. But overall, I think it's fine. Did I get them all? Yeah, I think so. It's funny, overall, I'm actually pretty happy with how the mouth came out. Most of the time, I don't really like it very much. But I think here, it's actually looking pretty okay. Hopefully it'll look alright when it moves. I think I've done the basic checks there when I was doing the initial rigging. I guess I can look at it a little bit now. Yeah, not too bad. I just went with a very simple mouth this time. Did not really feel like doing anything too complicated. All things considered, that's probably not quite enough detail for most VTuber models. But I think Shalom is a little bit special. Her expressions are just so subdued that I think I can get away with maybe being a little bit lazy on the mouth. I want to adjust her nose a little bit, I think. Little shadow right here that I think I just want to have it come out just a little bit more. Yeah, I think that shape is a little bit more pleasant. Matches the original a little bit better. Now then. There's some stuff that I can probably do with the eyelids and the eyebrows to make this a little bit better, but I'm a little bit scared, if I'm going to be completely honest. Oh, right. I forget, this is her right. I want my right, which is her left. So I need the left side, not the right side. Silly me. I'm gonna try moving... Oh no, it looks like I did move the highlight over a little bit. I just moved it over there. Is that actually how I want it to be? You know what? Yes. I actually think that looks alright. Okay. In that case, I think I just want to adjust the top a little bit here. And do some very minor little things here. Just want to try to make this look a little bit more three-dimensional. And there are some things that I kind of picked up from watching a few tutorials since I rigged this, that I think I can do that now. And just very small things. Very small things. Basically, I'm just trying to think of what changes when the eye is facing this way. And there should be like almost a little bump coming out here. Because you can see the inner part of the eye socket a little bit. Not sure if I'm quite pulling it off. But I think it looks okay, so I'm going to try to do a little bit here too. Where I kind of just give the impression of a little bit of a bump coming through here. And again, I'm not sure if that actually made a difference because I just largely kept things in a straight line still. I think I see a little bit of a difference. Her eyebrows aren't really conductive to it, but I think I see it in the eyelid. Let me see if I can make that just a little bit better. Because right now I have it going a little bit up, and I don't want it to necessarily go up. Does it look like there's a little bit of a bump from the eyelid? I think a little bit. Alright, now let's do it for this side. This part is a little bit asymmetrical. So I want to do them separately, I think. Just go in and push things over a little bit. Ah, yes. And there's currently kind of a minor bug that I think is being fixed in 0.9. Or when you have things rotated a little bit via, like, these things over here, especially the rotations, that your cursor is going to be a little bit off here. Like you see, I have to go, if I hover right over this, it doesn't work. But if I go a little bit to the right, that's when it recognizes that I'm hovering over that vertex. Can make it a little bit annoying to work with these spots, but it's not too bad. Alright, I'm gonna hide the hair for a second. We're gonna go bald for just a little while I work on her right eye. Again, I need to do these a little bit separately here. Just because this area is a little bit asymmetrical just due to the nature of what I want to do with these highlights on her eyelid. I'm not going to do too much though because it's all going to be like covered by her hair. I just want a little bit in there for when her when the hair physics makes it move around, and you see a little bit underneath. That's why I say I just wanted to give it a little bit of lip service. Yeah, I think it's a little bit better. The corners. They're just so funny. Okay. So do I want to go look at the face and the up and down before I move into the hair? Yes, I think I do. So let's do the down first. I was not quite happy with how the eyelid here was moving when I did down. So let's say that'll be her right eye, or her left eye, excuse me. So I think I just have to give it a little bit of movement here. Arc this eyelid just a little bit more. Fix up this highlight just a little bit here. Try to get it into the right spot. And there we go. Now I gotta make her... No, I actually don't think I need to make her bald again. I just need to find that layer. So eyelid left. That means we want eyelid right. It'll be E, so that'll be before hair. Eyelid. Eyebrow, eyelid. That's left, yes. Okay, is that better? Yeah, I think so. And then I think I want to change the angle on the eyebrow just a little bit here. Overall, I think it looks okay. But I feel like the corner of it, right here, every time I look at it, it looks like it's squirming just a little bit. So I think I need to tilt it downward just ever so slightly. Oh yeah. That's already a lot better. Already much better. So you can see here, I'm talking a little bit more slowly because I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of trying to figure it out as I go. It's like I have some ideas, but I'm not sure if they're the correct ones or if it'll work. I'm just trying things. It's how it always is. There is much science to be had. Much science that needs to be done. And you see that's too angled. So let me bring it back up here. There, I did a little bit too much. Finding that balance is always a little bit tricky. Actually use this brush. Just very, very carefully bring that down just a little bit more. Do I feel like it's still being arced a bit too much? A little bit. Which tells me that I just want to take this little corner right here and just raise it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let me see here. Then I push things over to the right. A little bit, I think. A little bit to the right. So push it just a little bit to the left. Gotta be particular about these things. This is our face. Do not mess around on the face. Everything must be perfect. Yeah, just like that. Alright, let's go find the other eyebrow. Eyebrow... This was left, right? Yeah. Language is funny like that. You can say, this was the left one, right? I kind of wish that we didn't use right as both a affirmative and a direction. Very confusing. It's like when you ask for directions, this to the left, right? Yes. I feel like this helps no one. Now then, one thing that I also noticed a bit is something about this lower corner of her eye. I'm not quite sure what, but I feel like, for whatever reason, it gets very large. Probably something to do with the kind of scaling that I do, so that tells me that maybe it would be a good idea. It's like I want to avoid doing too much deforming on the eyes, so I wonder if I can get away with just rotating it a little bit. And if that will get rid of the problem that I see. No, it really didn't. Okay, we'll get rid of that. How about on the lower eyelash then? Once I find it. Eyelash bottom. I see. It'd be the eyelash middle then. If I move you just a little bit to the right, or to the left rather, does that fix the problem? Almost. I might need to move this one over just a touch too to compensate, and then something about the eyelash spikes here. I don't think I deformed them at all here, so I'm just going to try to move it over a click and see if that fixes the problem that I am seeing. Yes, actually, I think it did. Excellent. So now I just want to do it to the other side. Oh no, that means I have to remember what I moved. Okay, what did I move? I did the middle eyelash. So let's look for eyelashes. Is eyelash one word? Yes. So that'll be down here. Eyelash spikes. Bottom right. Okay. How much did I move you? Only one. I have to do it manually because you'll see here there's a transform. But down here, there isn't. So it won't be able to properly copy that. That is something I have observed. So that's another thing that I kind of hope that they fix up a little bit in future versions. So this one I moved 2. So that means I need to move you over 2. And then I think I moved the bottom eyelash too. Just 1. Boop. Okay. So I do want the eyes to be symmetrical here. Oh yes, that was something that was bothering me every time I went to go look at her nose here. Not her nose, or the downward turn. I was just checking the nose when I said that, and apparently it came out in words. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better here. See a little bit more of the eyelid there and all that stuff. Okay. Let's go check the top. Just checking her face for now. But I know for a fact that there were things that bothered me about her face. Mostly around this eye makeup here. So So let's see if I can tilt that a little bit better. Or is this a draw order problem? It might actually be a draw order problem. Let me see. It is. Okay. So that tells me that I want to move this highlight up here. Because you can see, the reason I was talking about draw order was because the makeup layer, the dark kind of eyeshadow there that I was playing with before, is below this highlight on her eyelid. So anywhere that the highlight on her eyelid is drawn, it'll cover up the eye makeup there. So now I'm just trying to adjust things so that this way the eye makeup looks like it's curving in the way I want. And I do think overall I want that highlight to be on top. I thought I had to think about it for a second, but I do think that I actually currently have it correct. Just means I have to pull a few shenanigans here. But I can pull a few shenanigans. I have pulled many a shenanigan. I'm trying to make the line a little bit thinner, but it's not really working. And it's okay. If I have to unset this, it's not the end of the world. It's not too unusual for things to take multiple tries for me to get right, so I am not the least bit concerned here. And honestly, I think having the crease of the eyelid be a little bit thinner is actually looking really good. We'll see how it looks in motion. It's always hard to be too sure until I see it all in motion. All this just because I wanted to make the eye makeup here a little bit rounder. Well, that's just how it goes, you know? A lot of effort just to make something a little bit better. But I think it's worth it. Oh good, I can even raise up the eyelid a little bit more. I was really worried about doing that because I was afraid I was raising it too high. But I actually can do it a little bit more. That's good. That should make my life a little bit easier here. Right now I still feel like that line is a little bit crunchy, so I'll have to fix that up. But I want to see if everything is in the right place before I try anything else. Mostly. I think it's moving the highlight on the eyelid a little bit to the right. So I'm going to pull all these vertices a little bit to the left. Something like this. Yeah. Now I just got to fix the corner and everything should be good. So I feel like this corner is just slanting downward a little bit more. Just right over here. So let's move it all on back up. It's compensating a little bit too hard for something that didn't actually matter. There we go. I think it sells the effect a little bit better. Let me just round things out over here a little bit here. Get everything just right. After all, what's the point of doing all this work if it's not just right? And then this isn't gonna mess with the blink, is it? Not at all. Okay. Just wanted to check that real quick. I always gotta be careful about stacking deformations, but I think it looks fine. By stacking deformations, I mean... So here I was deforming the makeup here, and the eyelid here. And I know that on the blink, I deformed them both a little bit. You can see that the eyelid goes down a little bit, and the makeup changes the direction that it's going. Because here you can see it's kind of rounding upward, and here I'm having it follow the shape of the eye, so it's rounding downward a little bit here. So I just wanted to make sure that that played nicely with what I did here, and I think it does. I think it looks wonderful. So now I'll just apply that to the other side. And so that was just the eyelid and the eye makeup. Let's go find that here. Eyelid, here we are. There's the eyelid, right, perfect. Set for mirror. And eye makeup, so that'll be a little higher. Eye makeup, right, perfect. So now we should have some nicer looking eyes. A small difference, but one that I really appreciate. I think it looks a lot better now. So I remember looking at that a lot while I was working on the hair and the upturn here. And I do like that little change. Do I need to do anything to the eyebrows? They do feel a little bit straight. So I think I just want to arc the very center of it very, very slightly. Just have it follow the curve of the head a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Very, very slight difference, but I like it better, so that means it's worth keeping. Oh, I don't have... I should. Why don't I have a deformation here? Oh, whatever, I'll just do a quick... So remember what I was saying before when there was no transform here? Now there's no deformation on the right eyebrow here. And that means I will not be able to copy what's there right now. So what I gotta do is I just gotta make some random deformation here. And now I'll be able to copy it properly. Don't know why that is. That's just how it currently works. You need to make sure that what you want, the change that you want to apply, is on both. Otherwise it won't copy them properly. That's a thing that has tripped me up many a time. Alright. So this means that it's time to get into hair. I'm not going to get too far today, but I think I want to get things started. So I'm going to start with the mesh group. Oh, did I, like, not use the mesh group at all here? Oh, looks like I did a little bit. Okay. So I want to push all this a little bit further over to the right. And even then I feel like this is a little bit poofy, so I'm gonna squish this down just a little bit. Make sure this looks okay in motion so far. It actually really doesn't. Okay, so let's undo that last little bit there. Right here is just gonna be kind of poofy, and I guess that is just a fact of life I have to accept right now. But I'll try to make it look a little bit better. Okay, so far so good. It was a little bit of a shame to have to go back and make significant changes like this. But I think it's for the best. I think it'll make it look a little bit better in the long run. Make her head look a little bit less giant. And you can see I'm being very, very careful since I'm using the mesh group. some of this may not really be possible with using the mesh group, and I think I'll probably have to do very significant amounts of moving things around on each individual strand again. That's alright, I can do that. I just kind of felt like her head was looking a little bit massive. Make sure it's not looking a little bit too narrow now. I think it is, actually. Her hair is extremely floofy, so I think to an extent, the head might end up looking a little bit large. But I gotta find that right balance here, and right now I don't think I've hit it. Let me just do a quick bit here, reset the history a little bit, and then I want to go back to kind of closer to the beginning here. Okay, so this is where I started moving things around. So it looks better here or here? Yes. Yes. Okay. I just wanted to verify that I did indeed want to make the head a little bit less big. Because, yeah, now I think it's looking a little bit better. Her hair is still very floofy. But it's floofy in a good way now, and it's not making her head look giant. I'll worry about... Actually, I guess I can do this strand too. So I'm going to push this bottom part over a little bit, so I'm grabbing all the layers that'll be affected by that. I think it's just these three. Just want to push this in a little bit more here. I can tell that this is going to require lots and lots of correction. That's why I was a little bit afraid of doing all of this. I just wasn't really a fan of how it was making certain parts of her hair look and how big it was making the back of her head look. That was something that my past self missed somehow. But it's okay, the future self is here to save the day. Gonna go in and make everything better. I think that's part of the future self's job. But oh yeah, look at that swing over. I think it looks so much better. I think I moved it a little bit too far too. Such is the nature of being me. Overdoing things just a little bit here. I'm not gonna worry about making things look all perfect. I'm just getting the gist down here. Yeah, there we go. Let's fill in the gaps with the back hair just because it'll bother me if I don't. Leave it at a relatively good spot and we can worry about fixing it all up tomorrow. And I'm looking over here at this part. I think I want to tuck this in just a little here. Probably the strand too, actually, so let's find that strand. I think it's this one. Oh. Autosave trying to help me out here. There we go. I think I want to tuck them both in a little bit here. Make that stick out just a little bit less. But otherwise, I think it's looking good. Alright, let's get this side started too. Make the back of her head look a little bit less massive here. Probably only about to here. I don't really want to hit the bang, so just gonna do it like this. And we're just gonna tuck this in. Now up top, I want that big floofy part a little bit over here. And the lesser floofy part's a little bit over here, actually. And then just make the shape a little bit better. Okay. Now then. Up here, I want it to be tucked in just a little bit more. And then, like, all of this I think I have to do manually again. But I think it's already looking a lot better. So here, here, here. Just tuck it all in here. There we go. Obviously, a little bit of a mess. I think it'll look pretty good when the time comes. And we're not going to worry about the shadows. In fact, I'm probably going to have to turn those off once I start working on all this again. Maybe I pushed the back of her head just a little bit too far there. Probably like right around here. And just have that stick out just a little bit more because her hair floofs like crazy on that side. So floofy. Just unbelievably floofy. And then the lone strand down here. And tuck that in just like that. Okay, there we go. Now her head looks a lot less massive. And I can get on making all that look nice again tomorrow. Do I want to do anything with the up and down? I thought the up and down were both looking like super fabulous. And last I looked at them. Yeah, I'm still pretty happy with the hair on those. We'll see if my future self changes their mind after I finish the left and right here. But I think this looks a lot better already, and I haven't even cleaned it all up yet. But that will be for the me of tomorrow, and this will be where I end for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or add me on the social media platform of your choice, and I will take a look and maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.